Axie fans in the house! What up, Axie fans? What up, what up? Jinx, curse card, unplayable, ethereal. Whenever this card is drawn, your furthest Axie receives 10 damage plus 5 more damage per bad luck stack. Then apply 1 bad luck to that Axie. So this is very interesting because if you remember our video here, Jellyfish makes you apply an additional Jinx to your opponent's discard pile. So you have like Raven, you have Inkling, you have Tadpole. Those cards putting in Jinx, but you could have 2 or 3 Jellyfish, so you're putting like 4 per Axie per deck rotation. So this could add up. So it's gonna do 10, and it's gonna do next turn it'll do 15, and then 20. Pretty solid, I think, with the number of Jinxes you could put in your deck. Okay, Giant Bubble. We learned about this. We weren't sure what it was going to be. Nobody knew. They had no guess. So Giant Bubble is a tool card. Innate. Retain. Energy cost 0. Remember, this is put into your deck by one of the runes. This is all Axies gain 1 bubble. If retained, its energy cost +1. Add 3 bonus bubble. Okay, so cap 5 rounds. So I did a little chart trying to figure out the damage on this and if it was worth it. It's kind of boring for like the new players, right? It requires a lot of steps, right? It's like a combo piece. This is some nerdy. I'm gonna cut all this, but I want to know the answer. So when I did the math, basically, it's good, and then it's like mediocre, then it's good, then it's mediocre every other turn, right? Because of the amount of bubble bombs that we get. 1.4 bubble bomb. We end up getting 2 bubble bomb, 2.6. So there's no change between 3 and 4. So you wouldn't want to use it at 4 energy. You would want to use it at like, basically you want to use it at 1 energy, 3 energy, and 5 energy. Odd amounts. That's where you get the bang for your buck, because that's the change in like the bubble bomb amount that you would get, right? So the damage per energy ends up being about 93 at the biggest it could be. Now this damage per energy could change. This may be very strong. I'm going to cut a lot of this. The damage potential of the big bubble bomb is substantial, right? Because it's a free card. It has retain, right? Anyways, it doesn't have banish. So that's a thing. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm sorry. I'm nerding out. I don't even want to tell you what I just realized. Because if I tell you, it might make its way back to Sky Mavis, and I won't be able to do it during the season. The stress. I'm stressed. Ina. We could use Ina. We could use Ina's magic sack to copy the giant bubble. Maybe not. Maybe it has a card type like power that cannot be copied by Ina, and maybe that's why it says tool card. So maybe Ina can't copy it. Maybe Valora can if we get Valora. Dispel. Remove 1 random buff from target up to 3 stacks or 3 turns. So if they have increased the Axie's attack by 25% for 6 turns, they could dispel and it would cut the number of turns down. Or if they had like a couple of fury stacks, it could remove up to 3 per dispel. Cleanse. Remove 1 random debuff from the target up to 3 stacks or 3 turns. So if you have Axie that has sleep for 6 turns, it's only going to remove sleep for 3 turns. Still good. Still good. Cleanser. Each stack negates up to 3 stacks or 3 turns of 1 debuff applied to the target. So if an attack applies 2 different debuffs, it's like a 50-50 which one gets cleansed, because it's the stack count, right? But cleanser, still very good. All right, let's get into it. Eyes. Telescope. If initial, select 1 Aqua card from your discard pile. Otherwise, select from your draw pile. Put the selected card on top of your draw pile and then banish. So same as the other eyes. Clear. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. Unstable. What a nerf to clear, man. Are you for real? This is upsetting. Why unstable? So now we get a confused into our deck? There must be some reason for that, but I feel like Clear has not had... Clear's been taking a beating since Season 0. Sleepless! 1 energy, 60 damage. Select the closest or furthest enemy. Apply vulnerable to the target for 2 turns. So vulnerable is they take bonus damage for a certain percent. We don't know that percent yet because it might change. I imagine it's 15%. If it remains to be 20, that'll be pretty sweet. Gyro! 1 energy, 60 damage. If the target has fragile, deal 20 bonus damage. Otherwise, apply Fragile for 4 turns. So Fragile being the reducing of the shielding capability, right? Ears, we have Nemo. So this one's a big change. It says target an ally, gain 1 energy fragment. Gain 1 bonus energy fragment per Nemo card in your deck. Cap at 3 Nemo cards. That's because this one can be copied by Magic Sack. So that would be nuts. You know, I had an opportunity to shine once again. Bubble Maker says return. Target any ally. When your turn ends, if not played, other allied Axies gain 1 bubble. Wait, do you see this? What is this? 9 energy, 400 damage. What is that? That's not good, right? That's like 36. 44 damage per energy, so it's pretty bad. It says retain. This card costs 9 energy. What if that's all it said? Like, this is like, if you could figure out a way to cast this card, good on you, brother. But like, this card costs 9 energy. Reduce the energy cost of this card for each level of your energy burst. So 3 or 4. So this costs 5. Costs 5, deal 400 at the late game, like turn 20, turn 21, right? Maybe this is good. Maybe this is the Aqua finisher. Why is it called Tiny Fan though? Why not? They should change the name. That's a thing. Inkling. Target the closest or furthest enemy. We're seeing a lot of this. You're seeing this option to target the closest or the furthest. And a lot of people are saying in the live chat that having your most important Axie on your mid might be the new strategy. 1 energy, 60 damage. This is Inkling. Shuffle 1 Jinx into your opponent's discard pile. So it's pretty much the same, but it gets the ability to target the front or the back. Really synergizes well with like stuff that puts stuff to sleep. I was saying in the chat, like if you put the front to sleep, then you would want to have something that could hit the backliner. And if you use a Rosa and it hits the back, you'd want something that could hit the front. You not wake up the one that's asleep. Gil, 1 energy, 20 damage. Attack all enemies. All allied Axies gain 1 bubble. So this is kind of sweet because I thought that they might have some type of upgrade where we could mutate Gil to do AoE damage, but it would reduce the damage by like 20%. So this is like 40% of the base damage of the original Gil, and it's doing AoE, which is good because now we have an AoE charm for Aquas, so we can increase this damage just a little bit, right? So maybe they're moving the AoE from the birds to the Aquas. 1 energy, 60 damage. Sea Slug, cleanse 1 time, gain 1 cleanser. So this is a very good change up in my opinion. Reduce the likelihood that Aquas can just like go off, but Aquas, they're changing the way Nemo operates, so it doesn't give the bonus energy. So having a bunch of 2 cards, because Aquas, they did have a bunch of 2 cards. You know, they had Ranshu, they had Sea Slug, Aranda, Perch. But yeah, so a good change here. Very good change. Very solid card. A lot of utility. Onto the mouth cards. Lamb. 95 damage on Lamb. Dang. Target the enemy Axie with the lowest HP. Lamb deals 25 less damage per 25% HP the target is missing. So it does 95, but then like it's always gonna be hitting the front, I feel like, right? That's kind of weird. Kind of cool damage to have here. Catfish, 1 energy, 20 damage. Catfish, attack all enemies. All allied Axies gain 1 bubble. So Catfish and Gil, that might be a pretty strong, very balanced Axie geared towards Heart of the Ocean and Bubble Bombs. Risky Fish, 1 energy, 70 damage. If initial, deal 15 more damage and apply Fear to self for 4 turns. So, pretty punishing, I think. Very risky. This card, Fear, getting those confused in your deck can be brutal. Sorry, my camera's hiding the art on Piranha, but 1 energy, 50 damage. Target the closest or furthest enemy, still HP equal to 40% of unblocked damage. Now this, a lot of people are like, why did they put this on Piranha? Well, I think the reason why they did this to Piranha is because back in the day in V2, Piranha, if your Axie was really low HP, you could use it to focus the Axie with the lowest HP. And so you could sometimes knock out the birds that had used Egg Bomb previously, right? So it kind of has that same flavor, but you also get the healing, you know, Piranha's eating stuff. So onto the back cards, we have Hermit, 1 energy, says target any ally, negate the next attack on this target. So no change to Hermit. We have Blue Moon, 1 energy, 60 damage. Target the closest or furthest enemy. Limit 1. Draw 1 card. So, kind of a buff to Blue Moon, actually. Goldfish, 1 energy, 60 damage. A little bit of a damage nerf. Says if you have at least 1 skill card in your hand, gain 2 energy fragments. This is kind of interesting because we have a lot of cards with retain now. So you could have like a hybrid Axie that has like Tiny Dino. Oh, wait, no, that's an attack card. Huh. Do we have any skill cards with retain? Let's move on. But yeah, very, very, so we have upstream, I think it's like upstream fighter and goldfish. Might be a thing. It's gonna require some theory craft. On to the back cards. We have Sponge, 3 energy, retain, target and ally, convert all bubble on the target into bubble bomb. So we could get some free bubbles with Gill, and we can get some free bubbles with, what was the other card? Catfish. So Catfish, Gill, Sponge, Catfish, Gill. Yeah, that's mouth, ears, and back. So my only argument is like, if you look at the damage table, right? Not this one here, but if you look at the damage table of Bubble Bomb. So they changed Bubble, I believe, to where you have to have 5 Bubble to make Bubble Bomb now. So the max you could have is 4 on here. So Sponge would be 3 energy, turn all those. So that's like giving 4, 8, 12, 16 bubbles to an Axie with 4 bubbles to make 4 bubble bombs. And then you have to use another attack. Say you have to use Anemone. You'd have to have played 1 card to get the 4 bubbles, right? So let's add 1 energy. So we have the 1 plus the 3 from Sponge. And then we have 1 for the next card they have to play after Sponge to trigger the bubble bombs. So we're going to be using 5 energy. So we're going to have a max of 4 bubble bombs. So if Bubble Bomb does 20, 40, 60. So times 60, right? That's 240. Then we'll add the damage to just like whatever, 85. So we're doing 325 damage. Divided by 5 energy. Maybe we have some damage from the first card that gave them the 4 bubbles, right? Maybe they got the bubbles for free because they have the new rune, right? So that's a possibility. So we're going to divide 325 by 5. It's only 65 damage per energy. So it's very medium. Like, say you use the last of your 3 energy to play the Sponge, then your Axie dies before you can get the Bubble Bomb off. I don't know, I think this should give it some shields or something. 62.5. So it gets rounded down. 62 damage per energy. I just don't see it being that great. Anemone. Whenever played, it's 85 damage. Big buff to Anemone. But whenever this is played, this card loses 30 base damage. Whenever you kill an enemy Axie with this card, all Anemone cards reset their base damage. Anemone big buff. I think this is going to be good for those Axies that have a single Anemone, because if you are put in a situation where it's the only card you have to play, you can play it. Its damage gets reduced. Who cares? Like, you know, whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. A lot of people are saying that this is only going to be good if you have like 6 Anemones on your team. So 85 base damage. And then you can have a damage rune, taking this to almost 90, say 90. And then we have a bunch of runes that make us do 10% bonus damage because we're playing a bunch of Aqua runes or whatever. So we're doing like, say like 92, 90, up to 97 damage per Anemone. It's a pretty solid strategy. And the double Anemones are very cheap because they were overbred, right? Perch, X energy, 15 damage. Says consume all available energy. Attack all enemies. Base damage is equal to 100% per energy spent. Then deal 20% bonus damage per energy spent. So it does 120% of this, right? So if it's 120% of that, we can see the base damage 15, new damage 15, multiplied by 1.2. So it's doing 18 damage for 1. And then for 2, it's going to do 42 because it's for 3 Axies, right? The base is 13. The new is 45 because it's 3 times 15 for 45 base damage. And we multiply the times the number of energy spent. So 20, 40, 60. So at 5 energy, we get 100% bonus damage. So we get 150. It's an AoE card. Imagine you're playing against a curse team and you draw 4 curses and Perch. And you just play Perch. And your opponent's like, dang it, man. I put so many curses in his deck and he still used all of his energy. In that case, Perch becomes good against cursed teams, I think. Let's see what's next. Babylonia. We're in the horn cards. Babylonia. 1 energy, 60 damage. Target the closest or furthest enemy. Again, we're seeing that a lot. Apply vulnerable for 2 turns. Vulnerable making them take bonus damage. So, Babylonia, pretty solid card. Till Shell, 1 energy, 30 shields. Target an ally, the target gains 20 shield per card played before Till Shell this turn. In the case where you're drawing like 5 or 6 cards and getting like 5 energy in a round, Till Shell could shield for quite a bit. You could shield for like 130 for a single card if it's the last card you play later on in the game. So Till Shell might be okay. Clamshell, especially with calcium armor. We have calcium armor, and then you play your cards and then play Till Shell. You might have a very, very meaty Aqua frontliner strategy, right? It's really like, is my opponent going to shield the front? Is my opponent going to shield the back? And you got to play around your opponent and what you think they're going to do. So there's kind of some counterplay and more thought involved, right? Like, oh, he only attacks the front. I'm just going to shield the front. And then they attack the back and you're like, dang it, he got me. Is he going to attack the back again or the front? Like, do I need to shield the front or the back? So there's kind of that like toss up, right? Clamshell, gain 1 energy fragment if this attack causes unblocked damage. So if the, So if it attacks into a shield and it breaks the shield, that still counts because it did some damage. So if it, I don't understand. If they're shielded, it does not trigger at all. I don't know. I think it's if it does any damage at all, right? But not to shields. Like, it doesn't count. If it does damage to Axies or minions, it gets the energy fragment. I think this would be a good target for Earth Stamp. Throw it out and see if it hits something. And if it does, you get an extra energy fragment. A lot of Aquas with Upstream Fighter and Clamshell, you're getting 3 energy fragments for playing this one card. So you could play Earth Stamp on Clamshell, play it. It's going to do like, I don't know, like 48 damage or something. But it's going to be like you played 3 cards. So you're going to get a lot of energy fragments from that. You could have like Clamshell, you could have Goldfish, you could have something with Retain that's a skill. So you always get the trigger from Goldfish. You could play like Kataro, and you could play like Carrot Hammer. Ugh. And that just like rank up. And then like once that actually dies, it doesn't matter because he's already done his job of increasing your energy shards and getting your energy burst count up, right? Looks like they changed all the anemones. 85 damage. Whenever this card is played, this card loses 30 base damage. Whenever you kill an enemy Axie with this card, all anemone cards reset their base damage. Is a single anemone good? Or is you have to play 6 anemones? Aranda, 1 energy, 55 damage. Says target any enemy, dispel the target 1 time. Oh, so you don't have to put your stamps on your Aranda anymore. Because a lot of people were. You would have those mirror matchups, and then once the taunt was gone on the bug, then they'd use the Aranda on the backliner to get rid of their... But it's only dispel 1 time, which is 3 stacks though. So it gets rid of 3 Fury stacks. Shoalstar, 1 energy. It's a skill. It's not an attack card anymore. Target any enemy. If the target has less than or equal to 90 HP and no shield, deal 90 damage to the target. If the target doesn't die, this Axie deals 30 damage to itself. What? A moment of silence for Shoalstar. Tail. Oh, big buff to Koi. 2 energy, 130 damage. Target the closest or furthest enemy. Oh, so it just does flat 130. But you can target the front or the back. So, okay, so with this and a damage charm, you're doing like 135. And then you're doing a bonus 10% with the rare Aqua rune. So you're doing a bonus 13 damage. So you're doing 146, 156 damage for 2. Which is only like 82.5. So it's 83 damage per energy. That's all right. I mean, that's pretty good. I think I like this because it doesn't matter if Aquas die, right? So Koi was really good at very, very early season, and then they nerfed it, and then it was bad, and then they gave it a little buff, and then nobody wanted to use it again. Nemo, 0 energy, says gain 1 energy fragment. Select 1 Nemo card from your draw or discard pile and put it into your hand. Banish. So you Nemo, like 3 Nemos, bam, 3 energy fragments. Keep calling them shards. 3 energy fragments. And then you play your card for the turn, but you only get to do that once. But you've increased your energy fragments. Tadpole, 1 energy, 60 damage. Just select the closest or furthest enemy. Shuffle 1 Jinx into your opponent's discard pile. So a lot of Aqua cards are getting that effect. Is it a skill thing? Is it them trying to implement ways to play around your opponent and counter your opponent's playstyle? It surely is going to change where you place your Mavis on the board. That's for sure. Ranshu, We're on to the tail cards, right? The second part of the tail says 1 energy, 20 damage. Attack all enemies, apply vulnerable for 2 turns. Oh, so they cut all the 2-cost cards in half. That's interesting. So 1 energy, 20 damage, attack all enemies, apply vulnerable for 2 turns. I like this card. This is like this is like Grandma's fan for Aquas. With the charm, you can have, what is it, 5? It's like 5 bonus energy, so it's going to do 75 damage for 1 energy and apply vulnerable for 2 turns. This card is very solid. Navaga, 1 energy. Oh, wait, it's no longer an attack card. It's a power card. Innate, whenever you have 10 energy fragments, they are consumed. After consuming 40, this effect stops. Then the energy costs of this Axie cards are reduced by 1 for the rest of the battle. Exile. Different than banish. Exile is, they're gone. They don't count towards like topaz and stuff. And you can't get them back with like tricky eyes and stuff. Huh. Okay, so you play Navaga because it has an 8. Always round 1. Does that itself count towards it, or does that first shard go into your shard pool? And then next turn. So with Aquas, if you're playing Navaga and you're getting to that point where that Axie's attacks, all their attacks are reduced by 1. So you have a bunch of 2-cost cards. Maybe this Navaga is the reason why they cut the cost and damage of like Oranda and Sea Slug and stuff, because they would be too good with Navaga. Right? Now there'd be a 0 damage, or sorry, 0 energy, 65 and 55 damage versus a 1 energy, 135 or whatever it would be. I don't know if this is good. This is hard to tell. We're gonna have to see how this one develops. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this. What do you think? Leave it down below. Do you like Navaga? Is it good? Shrimp, 1 energy, 60 damage. Says target the furthest enemy. Apply taunt to that enemy for 2 turns. So it always hits the furthest. You don't have to have initial. It doesn't taunt itself, and it has a damage buff. This is sweet. I think not being able to target whatever you want is kind of whatever. But I mean, not taunting itself, I think is kind of important, right? Because if you're, I don't know, you always get the taunt. You always apply the taunt. It's always blackmail egg combo, right? In V2, we had a combo where you could use pigeon post and egg bomb. So you egg bomb to give itself aroma, and then you blackmail to give the aroma to whoever it's attacking, right? So they would use dark swoop, so they would, or little owl as it's called now, to target the fastest, and then they would egg bomb themselves and then blackmail the fastest one, and then their other Axies would hit the fastest Axie. You know, fast Axies were squishy in V2, if you've never played V2 before. I know there's a lot of people that have never actually played the game yet watching the channel, so that's just some insight. So I think that's good. Big buff to the damage on Shrimp. So what do you think? What's the most interesting changes so far? Is it Perch? Perch is pretty sweet, I think. I think Perch with like some type of damage boost. You know, something that's like we're able to like give the Perch guy. Somebody in Ryan's channel, Meditate, Ryan Meditate Axie Faction. Somebody in his channel stated that if you had a backliner with Navaga and Perch, you could use all of your attacks after you've triggered Navaga to make your attacks free. You could use all of your attacks and then Perch with 5 energy. So that's kind of neat. What do you think? Did we see Sponge? What do you think? What's your favorite card so far for the Aquas? Are you going to play Aquas? Are you going to play plants? There's a lot of plants being bought up on the marketplace. I'm seeing it. Like a lot of plants with potato leaf, bamboo shoot, and leafy are disappearing on the marketplace like quickly. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Help me out a little bit. Make sure to hit that bell so when I post the next video, you will get a notification when it goes live. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.